Final question comes from Staff Sergeant Chad Robichaux.
As you mentioned, there's a tragic suicide epidemic among our veterans. While the military and VA are working on the problem, their efforts continue to fall short.
And it's one of the things that I hear, like your question, it's one of the things that I hear the most about when I go around and talk to the veterans. We are losing so many great people that can be taken care of if they have proper care. When you hear the 22 suicides a day, that should never be.
22 veterans took their own lives every day in 2010.
More U.S. soldiers and veterans have died from suicide than from combat wounds over the past 2 years.
The Department of Defense says the suicide rate among veterans is disproportionately high.
So now the number works out to about 22 a day.
22 soldiers a day.
How can we have 22 veterans committing suicide every single day in this country, and that's not a national issue?
22 military veterans who take their lives each day.
It's at least 20 suicides a day.
22 veterans a day.
22 veterans.
22 isn't just a number.
22 veterans.
22 veterans.
22.
The numbers haven't got better. And one of the things that I want to bring out, and I just love to speak into this as you can, the last report said 17 a day. That number 17 a day, they had taken out jumps, overdoses, and car crashes.
I usually say 17 to 20, probably more.
Today on The Resilience Show, I'm joined by a man who served this nation in multiple ways. From his service as a U.S. Air Force chaplain to the halls of Congress to now leading one of the largest offices in government as the Secretary of the U.S. Department of Veteran Affairs, responsible for the care of over 19 million American veterans. I've seen firsthand how this administration can help and how it can fail. That's why today's conversation matters. Why you? What led you to this position to be the top candidate to be the Secretary of the VA?
I think it's beyond me. God, He doesn't make mistakes. There's a lot of things I've never asked for, but found myself in. I never thought a trooper's kid from North Georgia would ever be in Congress, ever be leading the Judiciary Committee from the Republican perspective. I never thought I would, know a president on a first name basis and have him call me and know me. These are kind of things that he just, you're in the places and to be used. And I've always said, bloom where you're planted.
I'll confess to you that I've been part of criticizing the VA for certain areas in the past, and I've testified on the Hill for failures in the VA. So you had to know you were stepping into this. But when you came in, like right out of the gate, was there things that you believed were working, and other things you believed like with this mantle, I'm going to change. This is like a targeted change.
I've said it very bluntly, and the senior leaders have already found it. You don't fail up at the VA anymore. We had a senior leader in a hospital, got rid of them, and they moved them to a different location, basically doing nothing and still getting paid. When I saw that come across my desk, I said, no, we're not doing this. We're not failing up here. And so that person, I think, is now gone completely, which is what, frankly, should have needed to happen. It's not that I don't think they're bad people. They were in the wrong place and doing the wrong things. I'm a big believer in redemption. But you're not going to hurt my veterans. So I have a standard. If you're hurting my veterans, you're hurting my employees, you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, we're going to do everything we can to show you that there's probably a better pasture for you to go, and we're going to use every tool we can to do that, but we're going to do it the right way. For the first week and a half I was there, I didn't have an accurate head count. Now, I want you to think about that a second.
You know how many people you have.
Before I came back into the administration, I was in the headquarters chaplain's office of Air Force Reserve Command down in Warner Robins. If I wanted to, at any point, I could hit a computer and I could look at every one of my reserve chaplains, every one of my enlisted, every one of my officers. I knew where they were, what billet they were assigned to, how long they had been there, everything. But then if I walked down the hall and went to any other any of these other branches, they could tell me who their people were. So they said, well, let's just ask payroll. Payroll will definitely know how many people we got because we're paying people. It's supposed to be centralized payroll. So we went down there. They said, we have 230,000 on payroll. We said, wait, we know we have 400 and something thousand people. Well, we don't do all of payroll here. We still had 60 locations that were doing their own payroll. They don't need to be doing their own payroll. It's not that they're got good people. They don't. But centralization, the standardization. So this is the kind of stuff we ended up with.
The most important topic for me, Secretary, is the veteran suicide issue.
Me too.
I've lost many friends.
One's too many, and that's I go back to. It's like I don't care what number you say. One's too many. That's why I'm sitting here with you. That's why I've been sitting with Sean Ryan. That's why I go to places that VA secretaries normally don't go because we're not doing it right now. And it's not because we have people who are malcontents who don't want to work on suicide. It's because I think we've gotten so used to the normal ways we go about it. Where do some of our people go? Some of the answers were, well, they go to some community groups and they go to the VSOs. I said, that's the same. That's the people that would join something. Tell me how we're reaching the ones that were not being connected. How do we get to those? And so we're trying to use podcasts. We're trying to use influencers from movies to radio to TV. And we're trying to focus them on the fact that it's not just thanking veterans, it's saying get help. If you need help, if you're out there, and if I could think about this, I use a UFC fighter. We sit down and we do a 15-second video and he says, hey, guys, if you need help, call this number, call 988, do something. And somebody somewhere is looking, a veteran or even non-veteran, a veteran's in there who had, and I've heard these stories so many times, they were at that point, they had the means, they had everything there, and something got to them, a phone call, something hit them and stopped them. That's my goal. That is how can we get them? And then I'm gonna put it back on us as veterans. We can't forget that once we get out, we still have wingmen, we still have battle buddies, we still have those folks that we serve with.
Yeah, no one's gonna care about our community like our own community. No. We all want to leave a legacy. What do you want your legacy to be after you leave the VA?
That they say you made a difference.
Yeah.
I want them to say you made a difference.